Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. I just wanted to talk to you today about, if you're anything like I was when I first started on this journey over 4 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know where I was headed. I just knew that my life was not where I wanted it to be, and that my relationships were pretty much the same, just with different people. There was slight differences, but not a lot. So I decided that something was off with me because I was the common denominator. So I decided to take the time to not date for a while and figure out who I was. And I started to think about what I wanted, but I had no idea what I wanted. I had no clue. I had no idea. So I started thinking about all the things I didn't want. And growing up in the house that I grew up in, my mother was a big control freak. She was never diagnosed with any mental disorder, but there was something definitely that was wrong with her that she never got checked out. Anyways, that's irrelevant. The point I'm trying to make here is that because she was the way she was, when I raised my children, I only had her as my reference. My aunts, that biological ones, my mom's sisters, weren't. There was one that was good, but majority of them weren't that much better in the choices that they had made. So they weren't all like my mother, but so when I raised my kids, I taught them the manners and the politeness just like I was taught. That I felt was important. But everything else I did with raising my kids, I didn't know how to do it. I just did it the opposite of the way that my mother did it. And it turned out great. So, when I came upon this a little over 4 years ago, it was in January, February of 2020, I started on this endeavor. I made this decision. And I started to think about what I don't want. And I decided, well, it worked doing the opposite with the kids, so that's what I'm going to do. So the last 4.5 years or so, I've been doing nothing but focusing on doing the opposite of what I don't want. And I am happy to say, excuse me, it's kind of hot here, kind of warm. Anyways, what I wanted to say is I am happy to tell you that I don't focus on what I don't want. I focus on what I want now, because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't necessarily focus on it. I just knew what I didn't want, and I started to focus on the opposite of it. And that was difficult at times because I would keep going back to the what I don't want. I can tell you that I now know, I have for a while now known what I want, and it's so easy to just, you don't have to deal with people like I used to have to deal with people, where you'd have to wait months or years or whatever to figure out if you were right or wrong. You don't have to wait. I don't know why our society tells us that we have to wait, but we don't have to wait. Literally, once you figure out what you want, you don't have to wait for nothing. Somebody does something that does not fit in with where you are headed and what you want, that's your automatic cue. This person's not going to fit. And if somebody comes, and that doesn't mean they have to be on the same path as you and have a future that's exactly the same as you. What that means is they have to be willing to understand that you are on your path and they are on their path. And if you two can meet up on your paths and keep going forward, that's great. But if you can't meet up on your paths, then it's not meant for you. Something that's meant for you is going to come easy. It's going to fit, and it's not going to be a problem. We're taught in our society and in our culture that things are tough. Love tough love. Love is tough, you know. Love is pain. Love is not pain. There's no such thing as pain in love. That's where we've been fooled our whole lives. Love is nothing but happiness and enjoyment for yourself and other people. So, if you can't figure out what you want, think about the things you don't want, and then focus on the opposite of that. And as you sense that you're veering off into the don't want, bring yourself back to the want. And you're going to have to keep doing this repeatedly, and eventually want is just going to be there. You don't think about don't anymore. Don't want, you just think about want. And it becomes easier as you do it. They tell us that, you know, positivity and everything else is, you know, it's all a sham, and it's not. It's not, and I can tell you right now that the more I stay focused on my want and my positivity, the more I'm able to decipher that somebody belongs in my life or they don't. Because if they're negative and everything's don't want, they have no clue what they want, this is not somebody for me. They're not at my energetic level. And so figure out what you don't want. If you can't figure out what you want, figure out what you don't want and focus on the opposite. And every time you catch yourself going back to that don't want, bring yourself back to the want. Start believing, start feeling that you deserve. Just know that if you keep focusing on the want, eventually the want comes. It takes time though, nothing happens overnight. But stay focused on the want. I think the next video we're going to talk about discernment and positivity. So stay tuned for a day or two and I'll be back with that. I hope you're getting something out of this. For the ones who are messaging in the comments, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. If you have a video that you would like me to discuss, I will gladly go ahead and throw it in the comments. Again, text me, email me, whatever you need to. And I will gladly do some research and some thinking and get you the video that you're looking for. You want answers? We're going to find you answers. That's pretty much all I've been doing for the last 4.5 years. And I can tell you that it's been a rough 4.5 years, but I've never been happier. I'm more at peace and I have freedom. Two things that are not easy to come by. So stick with me. We'll get through what you got to. Again, comments, contact information. Feel free to reach out. Love hearing from you. Anyways, love you guys.